Word.
So you were talking about meditation. I know me and you used to meditate together, and whenever
Hmm.
I initiated any type of incorporated any meditation into my life, I definitely felt more compassion. My brain felt more balanced. I had less ego, less fear. And they say when
Mm.
you're in the moment, you have no identity. So there was way less, way less of self involved, you know,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
less conscious separation from me and my fellows. So my question to you is: I know a lot of people have different perspectives on meditation, right? And how to go about and everything. How do you What is your method of meditating? Just for everybody who would like to be interested in meditation, what's some of your techniques that you use to either get started meditated or certain things that you do to get in the moment, to connect to the source, you know?
Bro, I have a joke I can probably kick here. It's like when I was growing up, I'm pretty sure meditation was something that like Dragon Ball Z characters would go off and do to like just get ready for a battle. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I caught my like initial idea of meditation from like Chinese kung fu movies and like
Uh,
anime characters. So
yeah.
like when I got old enough to really consider trying it, I did that, which was isolation and breathing. And I did it once in like my first 23, 24 years of being alive. And then I didn't do it again until I went, like I was saying earlier, I did my speech in school for meditation, and then I practiced it. So I went back to that original idea I had. I did the same thing of breathing for about 20 minutes. So basically, what I do is I sit with my legs crossed in like a quiet room
Hmm.
and close my eyes and breathe. And that's what I did for about a year. And then I visited Japan, and I went to a place in Japan called Koyasan, which is up in the mountains, and it's where Shingon esoteric Buddhism was brought to Japan from China. It's a place filled with monks and like a temple. It's been there for I think 1,000 years, even longer maybe. There's a very important sort of like religious connection there, spiritual connection for Japanese people. They pilgrimage there every year. And that's where I stayed in a hotel that was run by monks, and they held a beginner's meditation. And they're the ones that taught me how to focus on a simple idea in the beginning. And they taught me how to count from 1 to 10. And so, being a kid, I always counted like fire hydrants and like lines on the freeway when my mom was driving. I've always been sort of like a counter. So, I've done that ever since. So what I do is I close my eyes, and every time I breathe in, that's one, and I go from 1 to 10, and I'll go for 20, 30 minutes. And before you know it, time is sort of irrelevant, and all you're doing is counting from 1 to 10, right? So that's the only time that matters. And the further I get in, um, the more I disconnect from the analytical sort of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But strangely enough, I always know when 20 minutes have passed.
You do or you
Like I can
don't?
just feel it. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I've sort of developed just like an intuition to know how long 20 minutes is, even though I'm not paying attention to time, which I would love to talk to people about sometime. I feel like that's an interesting thing I've noticed about myself as I've reached into my 30s. It's like I feel like I've developed an intuition for time periods. But anyways, yeah, that's sort of my practice now is this. I don't know. I think it's pretty common, wouldn't you say? Like what I do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty synonymous to a lot of other techniques, whether it's counting down, focusing on your breath. For me, meditation, like it could be anything, as long as I'm not chasing my thoughts, because those
Mm,
thoughts are what dictating my emotions going up and down. So I see myself
mm,
meditating when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm walking, listening to music. Anytime my thought process could be shut down, I'm in the moment because the whole goal for me is getting into the gap between the thoughts, and that's where the moment lies for me. But I think
Yeah, there's
that
a lot
breathe.
of creativity there.
Yeah, and I also notice when I do hit the 20-minute mark, I tap into a source where there was um, just a lot of valuable pearls that I won't be able to access on my own with my own brain. So there's
Mm,
some type of source I'm connecting to that hold a key to a lot of other things in life. There's intuition I get, information I get, there's lyrics I get from music that will never come about unless I wasn't into the moment, into the meditative state. So there's a lot of
I
stuff where I can't do on my own. But when I connect to my inner source, whether it's through what you're explaining, riding a bike, anything, right? Uh, it's a whole different game. And I know I'm into the meditative state because I'm in the ananda state of being, meaning bliss. I feel more blissful. I feel the compassion. I feel
mm,
more hemispheric synchronization in my brain and less ego because no identity, right? Um, so at a cellular level, everything changes for me, you know. So whatever the practice is, I just love the whole concept, and I love to hear everybody else's concepts of how they incorporate it into their life, you know.
yeah, one thing I'd like to share is when I was starting meditation, like I was saying, I was in school and I would study a lot. I was studying like scientific topics like maybe physics or, mathematics. And my brain would get to this point where it was exhausted. I think like as like a muscle, I would think about it. It was like it was just worn out. And I would apply meditation.
Hmm.
And I found that meditation was a really good way to basically process information in my brain because I would normally what would happen is I do 20 minutes, I'd get extremely tired, I'd fall asleep, wake
I
up
got this.
and
I
have,
got this sun coming right in my eye. Let me fix it.
yeah, go for it, bro.
Sorry about that.
It's all good, man. So I was just gonna say like the information just sort of like process in my brain and then I'd go back to studying and I'd understand something better. So like I feel like meditation helps. There's like an intuition that gets sort of unveiled. You know what I mean? There's like this veil that sort of gets covered over my intuition, like creativity, all of these sort of like easy ways to handle things. And I sort of like try to power through everything in life. But if I give myself the time to step back, reflect, I usually have more than I would have had trying to power through just by letting myself open.
Yeah,
And you know what I mean?
man, I get it, man. Awesome topic, either way. And looks
Hmm.
like our Zoom session is going to be ending. They just got a warning, so they only give me a certain amount of time on each meeting.
Yeah.
We'll start wrapping it up. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your work and and giving your insights. I appreciate that, and let's definitely do this again, man. Let's link up and do another segment on one of these on the spiritual podcast.
Yeah, bro, this isn't enough for me. Let's do another 10 of them.
All right, brother. Thank you for your
All
time.
right, man. All right, man. Have a good rest of your day.